Okay.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
And my name is Quinton, and let's have a chit chat.
Let us have a chit chat. Welcome, everybody. Welcome,
Yeah.
Quinton Gonzalez, back to the show.
It's just me this time. I
It's just
destroyed my
you.
rivals, and now
hmm
it's just me.
Yeah, you took them
hmm
all down, and
hmm
you and me are all that's left. And
hmm
that's I think in a sense this is kind of how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
We're
Donovan, while he's sleeping, I poisoned him. I just put a bunch of sugar in his mouth.
Yeah, and he wasn't expecting that. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
died.
think he. Yeah, and we drank all of his apple juice. All of his emergency apple juice. It
Yep.
was all gone. And so now it's just us. And it's been a while since we've done a solo one. I think the last one that we did was the interview, the D&D interview, like all that time
Yeah, and that
ago.
was the first one I
That was
did.
the first one that you
So it
were
was a
ever
long
in.
time
Yeah,
ago.
all the way back in like
I think that was
2021.
like 2020.
It was 2021. It was the first season of Chit Chats.
Oh.
Yeah, that God, like it's crazy to think like how long it's been since then. Well, I mean like 2 years.
hmm
Some people would say that's not that long, but we're young adults, so it feels like a long
hmm
time. You know what I mean? But
I feel so
regardless,
old.
yeah. Oh my old bones. Oh, I can barely
Mhm.
move.
Oh.
Um, Today, we got a fun little thing we're going to be doing here. I'm introducing a new segment to Chit Chats, potentially. I mean, this could just be a one off thing or it could be a reoccurring segment, potentially. We're calling this Deep Analysis of Rap. So basically,
Oh
what we're going to
boy.
do, me and Quentin, we're big rap fans. We love a good
Oh
rap
yeah.
song here and there. You know what I mean? And I'm sure we're not alone in that. I know a lot of people are fans of rap. They got
Gucci
some
Gang is straight fire.
Gucci Gang is straight fire, dude. What's his name? Young Gravy, dude.
hmm
Like he's kind of the goat. Like
Definitely a rapper.
yeah. Is he? I actually is he a rapper? He's a rapper, right? Like
I don't know.
Either
I
way,
mean,
big
I
fans of
know.
rap.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
fans of rap. We love it. And yeah, so today we're going to be going over some of the most popular rap songs. Maybe not of all time, but at least like of recent times. These songs come to mind. And we're going to be going over the lyrics and we're just going to be kind of like diving into a lot of these rap songs, they have some really intriguing, deep lyrics. You know what I mean? And I think that they need to be
Mhm.
discussed. And I think who better than us to kind of like look at these and critically analyze them and just like get down in the nitty gritty of these lyrics. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So Quentin, if you would please divert your attention to my screen here.
Oh,
I'm going to be sharing it.
holy
I have this
moly.
whole little presentation set up, and by presentation I mean I made a Google Doc and I wrote rap analysis, and then I copy pasted rap song lyrics. Let's get into the first song here. We have "I Love It" by Kanye West and Lil Pump. You may remember this as the song where Kanye West and Lil Pump dressed up in Roblox costumes from a couple years back.
Oh,
You may
is this
remember
the
that.
you're such a poopy
Yeah,
hole. I
I
love it.
love
Oh,
it. Yep,
dude.
that's this song. It's a
I love
classic. It's a
this song.
classic. I knew. Yeah,
hmm
we're big fans of this song. So let's dive into this. So we got
Okay.
because in the old days they couldn't say the shit they wanted to say. They had to fake orgasms and shit. So right off the bat, I have a
Uh-huh.
question. Do you think that they were
Uh,
saying they had to fake orgasms and shit? Like is shitting a
like they had to fake
separate
shit.
yeah, is shitting a separate action here, or would you interpret it like he was kind of like trying
Oh.
to kind of say like, oh, they're faking orgasms and stuff, what's your take on that?
Well, I think that, you know, um, I'm sure someone had to he's talking about the past. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's one thing that I know about the past is that a lot of things happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at one point someone did fake shitting. So I
Yeah.
feel like, he's kind of bringing attention to the times that we've in the past, us as a humanity have been forced to fake shit. because
Okay.
of the given circumstances that we've been given, you
Yeah,
know?
I could see that being something you might have to do in some cases, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
you fake an orgasm, you gotta fake shit sometimes. Maybe you use like a fake shit to like get out of a scenario that you don't want to be in. Like you're at a
Hmm.
party and you don't really want to be there, so you're like, oh guys, I gotta go take a shit. I gotta leave. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
could
yeah.
be something like that.
Or you forgot to do your homework, so you shit on it,
Mm.
and then you hand it to your teacher, and they're like, "Well, I can understand why you didn't do it because there's shit on it." You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and then they just give you a passing grade
Well, okay, I
anyway.
guess in that instance, that's not fake shit. That's
Yeah,
real
that's real
shit.
shit. I mean,
But
yeah. Or maybe you put some mud and you try to pass it off as shit. I don't know.
oh, or like your dog shit.
Or your dog. I mean, that's still real shit at that
Yeah.
point. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
all.
true. Okay.
All right. Well, moving on though,
Okay.
we got we can tell uh, today. Hey, I
Uh-huh.
want to come, motherfucker. So obviously this
Okay.
person wants to jizz to produce semen, which I think
Yes.
is I don't know why they want to tell people that. I mean, like I don't know. I feel like that's like I don't know. Like why does that need to be put on blast? You know, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think he's just, he's talking about how he wants to come, motherfucker. And it's I think it does warrant some expression, the freedom of
Yeah,
expression. He feels like,
that's
he had to
fair.
fake orgasms and now he's like, "Hey, I've been faking so many orgasms. I want to
I just want to
come,
come for real.
motherfucker."
You know what?
Yeah.
I think you're onto
Yeah.
something with that. You know what?
Uh-huh.
I can see that. And then we get the classic line, "You're such a fucking hoe." I love it. And then he says that 3 times.
Uh-huh.
So obviously he wants to like really hammer home that this person is a fucking hoe, but he loves it. You know,
Hmm.
like he wants.
Hmm.
It's an interesting dichotomy because it's like calling someone a fucking hoe. Like I almost feel like maybe in this sense like that could be perceived as like a negative thing, but then there's like this contrast where he's like saying like, but I love that. I love that you're a hoe.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
so.
something that isn't really brought up in the whole Kanye West lore is that there's
Mm.
actually a counterpart to the song,
Oh
where
really?
yeah, yeah, in this part of the song where he has to say "You're such a fucking hoe, I love it," is because the counterpart, the person says, "I don't believe you," and he
Oh.
has to reaffirm that
Oh.
statement. So it
I
took
did not
three
know that.
times for him to say that. Yeah, and the third time
Huh.
he finally affirmed it, and he's like, and the counterpart, they're like, I finally believe it.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Interesting. I mean, I think that's a really it's a lot of commentary about our society. How like sometimes it's like people are so skeptical, but we
Well, yeah.
really have to like hammer home our beliefs sometimes. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like,
Not to mention, history is written by the victors. You can really see that today. Is that
mm,
this song is definitely written by the biggest victor of them all, Kanye West.
true. Yeah. I mean, like, I gotta agree with you on that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I find it interesting that in this lyric here, your boyfriend is a dork, McLovin. Like, I've always kind of perceived this line that he's referring to the character McLovin, from Superbad, right?
Oh,
Um,
oh.
but I'm curious if like that was the intention, or he
Mm.
just wanted to find a rhyme for "I love it," you know. Um,
Well,
like, what's your take on that?
I think this is abstract. I think what he really wanted for the sense is he wanted it to be interpreted by the reader, the listener, the
Oh,
consumer.
okay, sure.
Yes. Because, if there is one thing that is universal, it is McDonald's. They
Ooh,
have McDonald's in Japan,
I didn't even think
McDonald's
about
in,
that. Yeah.
yeah, all these countries. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all, no matter where we are in the world, we all love McDonald's. And I think he wanted us to be like, I think he wanted to bring us all together in this statement by saying McLovin because McDonald's is both universal and we all love McDonald's.
That's a good point. That's good. And you
Hmm.
know what? Like, I think kind of sneaking that into the song, like I don't necessarily know if everyone would expect that, but I think that
Hmm.
almost makes it more brilliant because it's just like, you know, it gets you thinking. It's like, oh, like yeah, sometimes we might be going about our day, and then McDonald's just kind of pops in our head, and then we go to McDonald's, and it's just like, yeah, that's it's it's accurate. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's a good
Hmm.
point. Yeah. Um, so let's see here. Do you have any lyrics here that like you kind of want to drive attention to, draw attention to? We don't need to go line by line per se, but I
Uh-huh.
do kind of
Hmm.
I want to look because I feel like there's so much gold here. You know.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, I kind of see this one here, like me and Smoke Perp Sip and Drank.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm familiar with Smoke Perp.
I am also not familiar with Smoke Perp.
So that could be like, you know, an abstract character that's like introduced into this world that Kanye West
Yeah,
and,
I
and
think
Lil Pump are
he wanted
building.
to introduce a new NPC into the universe, and
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I can get behind that.
well, uh,
Um, but you know, like I think one like really brilliant part of the song is how much repetition there is. And you know,
yeah.
some people, some normies might tell you like, "Oh, that's such lazy songwriting to just repeat the same line over and over. It's so boring." But I actually think it's brilliant, and I think a lot of these
Okay, yeah, I was
critics,
gonna say, what about the
yeah,
happy birthday song, huh? How come
yeah,
we all sing the happy birthday song if repetition isn't a good thing, huh?
yeah, no one criticizes the
Yeah,
birthday song. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I actually
it's
think
universally loved in it's in every culture
it is,
somehow.
yeah. And I actually think, like, relatively speaking, I think the birthday song is more of an offense than this song because I
Mhm.
think the
Oh
birthday
yeah.
song is so boring. It's so basic. You know what I mean? This
Hmm.
song takes
Hmm.
so many creative liberties. I mean, even just like what you were saying about the McDonald's reference, like that, you don't see that in the
Hmm.
birthday
I
song. You know what I mean?
honestly, I think I love it is actually the much greater spiritual successor of the birthday song, if you
You know,
ask me.
yeah, I think you could be onto something there, and I think the sooner that we all kind of realize that, I think the sooner we
Hmm.
can all be in
We
a
can finally appreciate the song.
yeah. That's very true.
And
Um,
I really like how he says that he is a sick fuck. He likes a quick fuck.
Yeah,
You know.
they say this a total of 5 times. Kanye West says this a total of
Yeah.
5 times, and I think this kind of goes back into you know, like the whole thing about repetition. Like he's trying to really hammer home, like he is indeed a sick fuck, and he does
Hmm.
indeed like a quick fuck. You know,
And I think that's him being vulnerable to us. He's telling us his flaws and his personality, and we get to accept that a part of him. And he's leaving himself to be vulnerable so we can take in this information and adapt to it. And I do think that this is a very good approach. And honestly, I really appreciate his honesty
I
in this song.
same here, man. It's
Mhm.
brilliant. It really is, especially the part where he says, you know, I like my dick sucked. I'll buy you a
That
sick
that
truck.
yes, that was very brave of him to
It
say.
was, yeah.
Not
Not
everyone
everyone
can
would
say
want to
that.
admit that. No.
Yeah. Mhm.
Seriously. Yeah, I think overall, like, from this lyric, like this song is like you know, it's a visionary, or Kanye West rather is a visionary, and this song is like is just it's some of his best work, I think.
Mhm. I
Um,
agree.
and I'm glad that we got to appreciate it. If you don't mind, I would like to move on to the next song because we have some more
Yeah.
gold to go through here.
Okay,
Next, we
that's
have
understandable.
"Savage" by Megan Thee Stallion. So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
another classic song that
Yeah.
many may recognize. You know, it was very viral on the app TikTok for a bit now,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
and I think that's for a reason. I think that you know this really resonated with the younger generation for a lot of reasons.
And verily so. I think it
Oh yeah,
does prove that it is, ready for it definitely meets it's not just bark. It definitely has the bite.
that's for sure. And I couldn't have said it
Hmm.
better myself.
Hmm.
And you know, right off the bat, you know, we got like I'm that bitch, yeah, been that bitch, still that bitch, will forever be that bitch. You know, really hammering home like
Might I just say that
she's
is a
that bitch.
great opener. Like
It
you
is.
just you
You're
start,
immediately
completely
captivated.
starts you off. Yeah,
Immediately.
captivated. You're
Uh huh.
yeah, yeah. The moment they say I'm that bitch, you're like,
You're
oh,
like,
I
oh,
I want to know more. Like
yeah, tell me
why are you
more.
that bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
Uh-huh.
think we get more into why she is that
Mhm.
bitch later in the
Uh-huh.
song here, right?
Well, see, the greatest thing about we were hammered this down in all of our English learning classes is you want to start broad. You want to start completely broad, and then you want to get more and more specific
That's
in the
very
intro.
true.
And
That's very
here we
true.
are. I'm that bitch. Probably the broadest you get. Been that bitch. Still that bitch. And we're slowly moving more and more
Yeah.
into specific. Being more specific. And I just think it definitely follows the formula to a T, and we should respect it for what it is.
You know you're establishing this point that you're trying to make. It's almost like a thesis statement, right? Like
Yeah.
your thesis is like I am that bitch, and then you get into the meat of the song where you kind of go into like why you're that bitch, and I think that
Hmm. Hmm.
that's really important to do, you know,
Hmm.
and that really like got me interested in the song. And so, as we're kind of moving down, I kind of like, if you don't mind, I kind of just want to skip to the chorus here, because that is obviously like,
Sure.
everyone knows the
Oh yeah.
chorus, like, right? I'm a savage. Yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty. Hey, hey, yeah. Acting stupid. What's happening? Bitch. And then we get that repetition of that bitch, right? Yeah. What's happening? Bitch. And it's just like, kind of reminding you of like what the thesis statement is. And like, like, I don't know. I think that this chorus is brilliant for multitude
Yeah.
of reasons,
She lists several points as to why she's that bitch. We got that she's classy, she's
Yeah.
bougie, she's ratchet,
Ratchet.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
and you think most people just stick to 3 bullet points and make body paragraphs on that, but she's like, you know what?
She
Fuck it, I'm
keeps
doing
going.
more bullet points.
She
Yeah,
keeps going.
sassy, moody,
Moody
and nasty.
and
And
nasty.
might I just add,
Yeah.
those are all really hard things to be, like classy and ratchet.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
There's such a contrast, I feel like,
Yeah,
but she's
and yet
proving.
she's able to balance all of them.
And that's impressive. I think that's impressive. I think there's a lot to be said. And there's repetition here. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Yeah. She says it again, reiterates the points, really trying to hammer home that she is indeed classy, bougie, ratchet, and sassy, moody, and nasty. I think that's, it's a lot, you know?
And yeah, I do think that the reason why there is repetition in this song is because that information to process it's so much for our brains to process, that she's all 6 of those traits at once.
Yeah.
She does need to repeat it just so our brains can have that extra time to process what
That's
we're
true, because
dealing with here.
it goes by really fast. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, so you're classy, and then she keeps going. She's like bougie, ratchet. It's like, whoa, 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 okay, hold on, slow down.
Yeah.
This is too much for my tiny brain to handle. But then she's like, it's okay, I got you. I'm gonna repeat it a little bit. You know what I mean? We're gonna ease you into why. Like this is why I'm a savage, and I really appreciate that. And then she reiterates that here. Like, again, repeating it. I really quite like this line. Let's play a game. Simon says, I'm still that bitch. And I like this for a multitude of reasons. One, everyone knows the game Simon Says. Everyone's played it once in their life. You're introducing this concept that is very familiar to a lot of people. And then you're reiterating your original point that you're that bitch, as she mentioned at the beginning of the song. I think that
I really like this line, because I do think that introduction of Simon Says makes this song relatable in a way, because we've all played Simon Says. It makes it relatable. It makes us able to relate to the song, and I think that is very great. That even though we may not be all 6 of the traits of what it means to be that bitch or a savage, we can still kind of relate maybe to some aspects of this song, which just honestly just draws me in even more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, and then let's just draw attention. This is something I'm just realizing right now. We have the reiterated point here of where she says, I'm a savage, right? And then she kind of lists like her traits of why she's a savage, and then she reiterates bitch. She adds in bitch to the original lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Those weren't there before. And
I wonder if she's calling us bitch, and I wonder if that's supposed to be like some sort of encouragement, because she's like, I may be that bitch, but honestly, you're that bitch too.
Yeah.
I wonder if
She's trying to get us to relate, like
yeah,
really understand, and like trying to be like, hey, I'm that bitch, but you're also that bitch, or you could also be that bitch. And
it's very inspirational.
It is. It's very inspirational. It makes me more emotionally invested in the material, and just another just classic, like just
Overall great song.
Yeah, that
9 out of 10. 9.8 out of 10.
9 point. It's pretty close. I mean, like, I think the only thing that would make it better is if she said bitch like maybe a couple more times. Like, I think that at that point it would be a solid 10. But maybe maybe in a future song or in a remix or something.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the reason why she didn't add bitch as many times as we would like is I feel like she might have thought that it would get a little too political. But honestly, I kind of want that challenge. I want that controversialness, because it really shows what kind of stand they were willing to take, But I understand, they wanted to play it safe.
Yeah, I get it. I think more artists need to be a little bit more willing to take risks. You know what I mean in that regard. But I do kind of understand like why she wanted to play it a little safe. So I'll give her that. So yeah, overall, Great song. We're gonna move on to our last song of the night. And this one, I think you'll agree, is a classic, worthy of praise, worthy of
Okay.
analysis. We have White Iverson by Post Malone.
Okay. This is
And
a great song.
this
Great
is
song.
I mean, I know that like you and me, we have a lot of experience with this
Love this
song.
song.
We
Hmm.
yeah, we
Hmm.
love this one.
Yep.
There's so much to unpack here, and I'm really excited to get into this one. So
Yeah,
right
I
off the
love this
bat,
song.
if you want to just like if you want to just read off the first couple lyrics here.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, double OT, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a new three.
Mm-hmm.
Saucin', I'm saucing on you.
Uh-huh.
I'm swagging, oh ooh. I'm ballin', Iverson on you.
Wow. There's a lot
I mean,
already.
yeah,
There's a
already
lot to
there's a
unpack here.
lot to process. A
Wow.
lot. There
So
he has introduced so many subjects to just dissect, and
yeah.
you are given such little time, but that's kind of like that's kind of like I almost wonder if that's the point. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are so many aspects in the world that, you can't dissect all of them. You have to pick and choose what matters to you, and you have to kind of just deal with it. That's just life.
Yeah. No, I
Hmm.
agree. And I mean, like, the fact that he's already establishing right off the bat, he's
Hmm.
saucing on you,
Hmm.
swagging, oh,
Uh,
ooh, balling,
hmm.
Iverson on you. Like, all three, like,
Hmm.
I don't know if he's
Hmm.
trying to say, like, he's doing them one at a time, like in this sort of sequence, or if he's trying to establish, like, no, I'm doing this concurrently, like all three of these concurrently.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I think he is concurrently doing it because, I mean, wouldn't, well, yeah, no, I think he is doing them concurrently because I feel like maybe the verb tenses of I would change if he was doing them at different times.
yeah, and I mean, I guess like he could have said something along the lines of like I sauced and then I swagged
Hmm.
and then I balled, but
Hmm.
he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He
Or I will ball, you
or
know
I
what I
will
mean? Yeah.
ball. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like it could have
Hmm.
there could have been more of an established sort of like progression with it, but he is
Hmm.
just like no, I am doing these things right now, and
Hmm.
so that
And then he even draws into attention with the next line, watch out, watch
watch it.
out, watch
Yeah.
out. Yeah, because he's telling us that we need to really just watch for this these aspects and these things that are being introduced to us, even though our minds might not be able to process them all.
Hmm.
We just really have to take what we're given and sort of accept it because it is simply just what we're given at the time. And our minds, if we spend so much time trying to process one thing at a time and really dissect one thing, we won't be able to go through life as well. But we just have to kind of just really take what we need and just move on.
I think
And I think that's what he's telling us right there.
I think he's just trying to make sure like we kind of ground ourselves here, you know what I mean? And I think that that's really great. I don't think enough artists kind of like allow for that, for you to just kind of be like, "Whoa, I know I'm presenting a lot of information to you right now, but you
Mm,
need to watch out," you
mm,
know? And I really
yeah.
appreciate that. And then he's
Hmm.
establishes like that's my shot. That's my shot. He's kind of like establishing like, yeah, this is my shot at trying to make sure you ground yourself. And he's like really like he's kind of pulling us back to earth, and I like that.
Hmm.
And then he kind of establishes like, yeah, he's spending, and then and then after that he introduces a fourth thing that he's currently
Hmm.
doing, spending
And I think
spending all his fucking pay.
and I think this is a very important uh, thing to discuss is that I think he's trying to deliver this message, this White Iverson, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
but at the cost of all of his fucking pay. He is willing to spend all of his fucking pay to deliver White Iverson to us,
Yeah,
and we should be really grateful for that.
we
That
should.
he is willing to basically throw it all away. Who knows if he's even able to recover from
Mm-hmm.
after spending all his fucking pay to give us White Iverson and tell us all these aspects of life and what we should do.
No, I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Well, and I think we can. I think that's a good point to make here because going later into the song, he says here, "I ain't rich yet, but I know I ain't broke." So he's already
Hmm.
kind of trying to establish, or he's like, further establishing with us, like he's not rich.
Hmm.
He's spending all of his fucking pay, but he has some pay to spend. He's not broke,
Hmm.
but you
Sure.
know, he's no
Well,
Jeff Bezos.
regardless of his pay, he's spending all of it.
Yeah, all of
You
it,
know,
not some of
Mhm.
it, all of it, all his
all
fucking
of it.
pay.
And I
Right?
think that really needs to be brought to attention is all of it. He says
Mm-hmm.
all,
Yeah.
not 99%, all. So that means he's back to ground zero. He's
Yeah.
back to square one.
Uh huh. And but that's the great thing is like he's
Hmm.
White Iverson.
Yeah.
He's balling. Like he even says here, White Iverson. When I started balling, I was young. So he started balling when he was young, but he's still
Hmm.
concurrently balling,
Hmm.
right? And then kind of reestablishing the fact that he needs that money, like the ring that he never won, right? Like kind of
Hmm.
reestablishing, like yeah, like I'm not rich. I need that money. But I just spent all my fucking pay,
Hmm.
right?
And something that's really
Theming.
amazing is that earlier he does talk about he's swagging, he's balling, he's saucing, but then he really, these aspects that we just have to take for face value because if we spend so much time dissecting them all, we don't, we might end up getting screwed over and we won't know what to do. But then later in the song, he brings into tension one specific one because he wants to help us realize that sure, maybe we won't be able to dissect all of them, but at least we can dissect what's important. And I think what was really important to him was that he was balling when he was young, you
I
know.
agree. For sure.
Hmm.
And and I think that like later on we can see he like he reestablishes that.
Hmm.
But again, right after he says that, he's like, when I started balling, I was young, and then he reestablishes like saucin', saucin', saucin',
Hmm.
swaggin', 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 ballin', ballin'.
Hmm.
It's just reiterated,
Yeah.
because I think that's like a really big point that he's trying to make here. And let's see what else we got. He goes into he talks about like cigarettes in a headband, commas,
Yep.
commas in my head, man, slumped over like a dead man. We got like this sort of like tail end rhyming scheme, you know, and maybe like this is kind of like kind of like the thoughts that are like going through his head after like after all this bawling and spending and swagging and saucing that he's doing. You know what I mean? He's slumped over from all that. It's a lot. It's tiring,
Yeah, I
right?
think this is another scene where the artist decides to get vulnerable with us a bit against a potential nicotine addiction, and
For sure.
he's telling us his struggles with that, and he's slumped over like a dead man, and he doesn't know what to do now. Not only does he have a nicotine addiction, but he's spending all of his fucking pay,
Yeah.
and honestly, this almost seems like a ballad more than a rap song, if you ask me, a
Yeah.
tragedy, if you will.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, like we're kind of almost it's like we're given like a really like deep dive into Post Malone's sort of like inner struggles or White
Hmm.
Iverson, whatever you prefer. But I think maybe like we like after we get into this sort of like stanza of like his internal struggles, we get into like he's like, bitch, I'm saucing, I do this often. So there, maybe there's some like trying to reestablish like, yeah, no, I've been struggling, but I'm still balling or I'm saucing,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And then he says I'm balling, money jumping. So like things are maybe looking up here, right? And I think that's
And I
important.
hope they are. I hope they are.
Yeah, me too. No.
Mhm.
Well, and then like we get some more. He kind of like maybe like inner contemplation, and then we get back to White Iverson. When I saw her balling, he was young, and then we get maybe like this sort of like happy ending, where he's
Mhm.
swagging, and he's swagging, he's balling, he's spending all his fucking pay, and so
Mhm.
maybe like he's trying to like hammer home like, yeah, I was struggling, but
Mhm.
like look at me now, like or like throughout the song maybe like there was some growth, and then
Yeah.
he he gets his money, but something that I'm realizing is that he ends the song by saying he's spending all his fucking pay. So maybe like he got more money and then he spent it all, and then it's almost like that's where we end off and we don't know where it's gonna go.
And what I think is really amazing is sure there was all these things that happened throughout his life and all these things about him, his personal growth and all the things that may be relatable and him getting vulnerable about all the horrible things that he had to deal with. But at the end of the day, he sticks to his core essentials. He sauces, he swags, and he balls.
Yeah,
Like that is mad props that no matter what happens to him in his life, he still sticks to his core essentials. And that happens throughout the song that no
that's
matter what happens to this guy, he sticks to his philosophies, his ideals, his beliefs. He never changes because he knows that at the end of the day, that is him. It doesn't matter how
that's
much
so
money he
true.
has. In fact, when he gets his money back, he goes back to spending all his fucking pay because
Yeah,
he knows that no matter how much money he has, he can still stick to his core beliefs, essentials, and just overall character. Like
Wow.
it's great.
It
It's really
is.
great.
It's inspiring. You know,
Hmm.
I think we all have a little something to learn from Post Malone, from White Iverson by Post Malone. You know, like
Hmm.
we got to stick to our core values. You know, whether they might be different or similar, or maybe they also are for you and me, like swagging, saucing, swagging, and balling. Right.
Hmm.
Whatever they are, you got to stick to them and you got to see them
Yeah,
through. I think
you
that's
really
really
should.
important. Hmm.
Overall, I think this is probably one of the best songs that exists right now.
Oh yeah, of all
It's
time.
yeah. Mm,
I think the history of music kind of went like, you know, like we were getting close, and then like when this dropped, it was
yeah,
like we reached like pretty much a peak, and then now
yeah.
we're kind of like, you know, we're kind of going down a little bit. I mean, we get some peaks here and there when we get songs like Savage and I Love It, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that they even really hold a candle to White Iverson in a
No,
sense, you
they
know.
don't. I think that was peak, and
Hmm.
honestly, it sickens me that no matter where we go, it just won't reach the same as White Iverson.
It's going
Like
to be an
this
uphill
song,
battle. It's an uphill battle
mhm,
for sure, but I think I
yeah.
have optimism that one day we can maybe get close to reaching this level of greatness, you know.
I just can't see it. I really wish I could, but I just can't see it.
I mean, you know
It's
what? That's, you know, like we all have different takes, and that's
mhm,
okay. But I think there's one thing that we need to all remember here, and that's we got to stick to our three core values:
mhm,
saucin', swaggin', and ballin'.
mhm,
And I think if there's anything you want to take away from this little exercise today, I think that's what it's got to be.
mhm.
Right. So that's where we're going to end things off. Very inspiring note.
Oh yeah.
I hope you all got a little something out of this exercise. Quinton, I know I got a lot out of this exercise. I hope that you did as well. I hope that you this this made you feel you know, inspired.
I mean, call me a broken record because I feel like I talk about these songs almost daily,
Mm.
honestly.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's, but I mean, I still think even after all these times I've talking about it over and over and over again, I still find new things to mention and new things to talk about, and everything every day, every minute, really. There's
For
something
sure.
new for me to dig into these songs, and it really is great. It's really helped me with my life,
Hmm.
and yeah, I of course I've learned a lot from this exercise.
I think honestly we've only really scratched the surface of the extent of like the brilliance of these songs, but I think if we, you know, like we simply don't really have time to, you know, dive into like every little aspect that is brilliant. So I encourage you, the viewers at home, to, you know, listen to these songs, really analyze, you know, the lyrics, the lyrical masterpiece, and, you know, find things for yourself. And I think
Mhm.
that that alone will help you to understand like the absolute just like brilliance of these pieces.
Mhm. And I think there's always something in these songs that's for you. That's what I really like
It's a
about
little
these
something for
songs is
everyone.
that
Mhm.
yeah, there's something for everyone. And if you don't have that peace in your life, that's something that makes you feel like you belong in the world, I feel like you can really find these in these songs. So I almost
For
ask
sure.
you, comment down in the section your favorite line from these songs.
Yes.
I think, like I said, there's a line for everyone, there's something for everyone, and I think, maybe we miss something because of course there's always going to be something that we miss. There's always something more to talk about. And it's almost like counting to a billion.
Mhm.
Even if we started now, or even if we started at the day we came out of the womb, we can't count to a billion in our lifetimes. Like it's the same with these songs.
Inspiring. Inspiring for
Mhm.
sure. Did you have a favorite lyric from one of these songs that you wanna mention?
I think my favorite song has got to be from White Iverson, and
Hmm.
I still think it is the lines where he discusses his nicotine addiction because it really goes vulnerable. It's so relatable that it's hard, but we all have those people in our lives that may, or even ourselves that may have those situations that they're in, and I think it makes it really relatable, and it really touches people that if they might not be able to find that help in their life, but at least Wyatt Iverson is aware of the situation they may be in, and it might even encourage them.
For sure. Definitely.
Hmm.
I think my favorite lyric is "I like my dick sucked. I'll buy you a sick truck." I think that lyric really speaks to me on a
Yeah, no,
deep level.
I think that line's great.
I mean, White
Um,
Iverson is always going to be a classic,
mm,
but that lyric specifically, I think it just speaks to me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but overall, like yeah, like Quinton was saying, I encourage you to comment down your favorite lyrics from one of these songs, or if you have another song specifically, let's keep it at rap because I do think that is like generally the better music genre.
mm,
Just comment like one of your favorite rap lyrics. I'm really curious to know. But with
hmm,
that, I think we're going to end off this episode of Chit Chats. So, Quentin, thank you so much for
mm.
joining me today for this wonderful little exercise.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's where we're going to end it off.
I,
So,
I just want you I want you to swag that like button. I want
uh
you to
huh.
sauce the subscribe button, and I want you to ball that, what am I missing?
That,
Ball that notification bell in
yeah,
the face.
yes, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right. Thank you
All right.
guys. We'll see you guys in the next
Mhm.
episode of Chit Chats.
All right, brother fist.
Brother Fist. Yeah.
Whack.